I'm Liyana Hassanel, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Nearly 10 million ringgit in luxury assets seized in major investment scam probe. Also, protests over latest Minnesota ICE shooting spread across the United States. Good morning. The headlining story. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has seized luxury properties and vehicles worth nearly 9.7 million ringgit as it deepens the probe into the alleged misappropriation of 300 million ringgit in investment funds. A prominent businessman with a Tan Sri title who had been remanded since Thursday in connection with the case has been released on bail. Sources told TV3 that the latest seizures include 6 residential properties valued at 6.54 million ringgit, a parcel of land worth 1.8 million ringgit, and 2 luxury vehicles valued at 1.35 million ringgit. 14 bank accounts had previously been frozen in relation to the probe, although the total amount involved is still being verified with financial institutions. The Tan Sri, believed to be in his 60s, was released at noon on Sunday. Meanwhile, a woman bearing the title Dato', who had been remanded for 5 days in connection with the same case, was released on bail Saturday afternoon. When contacted, MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed the developments, adding that 10 witnesses have been called in so far to record their statements. The Commission is now tracking down additional witnesses to assist with the investigation. According to previous media reports, the probe centers on allegations involving nearly 300 million ringgit collected from around 1,700 investors between 2021 and 2024. The funds, which were meant to be channeled into 2 companies, are believed to have been misappropriated for purposes not stipulated in the investment agreements. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim has arrived in St. Petersburg, Russia, for a special visit that will run from Sunday until Tuesday. The visit is being undertaken at the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Sultan Ibrahim's special aircraft touched down at Pulkovo International Airport at 2:38 p.m. local time. On arrival, His Majesty was received by Leningradsky Oblast Governor Alexander Yuryevich Drozdenko, as well as other officials, including Malaysia's ambassador to Russia, Datuk Cheong Lun Lai. In a post on Sultan Ibrahim's official Facebook page, the king expressed his delight at visiting St. Petersburg, a city celebrated for its rich history, classical architecture, and status as one of Russia's premier cultural centers. His Majesty said that the city's unique blend of history, art, and urban beauty makes it one of Russia's most sought-after destinations, drawing growing interest from international travelers, including Malaysians. This marks Sultan Ibrahim's second visit to Russia since ascending the federal throne on January 31, 2024. His Majesty's first visit to the country in August last year was described as historic, as it was the first state visit by a Malaysian head of state to Russia since diplomatic relations were established in 1967. Malaysians who commute to Singapore 8 times or more each month are considered to be working overseas and may therefore be ineligible for the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah or STR. Deputy Finance Minister Liew Chin Tong said such individuals do not qualify for the aid unless they meet the eligibility requirements set by the Inland Revenue Board. Liew explained that the interpretation is based on the assumption that those traveling to Singapore at least 8 times a month are doing so on a regular weekly basis. The clarification follows public concern over cases where STR eligibility was reportedly cancelled for Malaysians who frequently travel in and out of Singapore. According to the Finance Ministry, travel of between 1 and 7 times a month is generally viewed as temporary movement and is considered acceptable for reasons such as medical treatment, emergencies, short-term assignments, or family matters. However, 8 trips or more each month are interpreted as a significant period spent outside the country. Eligibility checks are carried out using data from multiple government agencies, including the Immigration Department. Liu said the government is aware of the concerns raised and is open to reviewing cases through an appeals process, noting that appeals remain open throughout the year. The syllabuses for Community Development Department or Kemas Tabika and Tadika kindergartens, including Unity kindergartens, will be standardized and revised to better prepare children aged 3 to 4 to enter preschool. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the move aligns with the preschool education harmonization initiatives under the National Education Plan, RPN 2026 to 2035. Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said that existing Kemas classes will continue, with their curriculum adapted to align with current standards.
Perlu ada penyelarasan dan juga pengubahsuaian supaya ada kesinambungan silibus ataupun mata pelajaran itu dengan tadika ataupun kelas prasekolah di sekolah kebangsaan untuk murid-murid yang berumur 5 tahun ini.
Speaking to the media after officiating a groundbreaking ceremony in Bagan Datuk, Perak on Sunday, Zahid emphasized that early education under Kemas will continue to be meticulously planned and implemented. He noted that these kindergarteners serve as a preparatory classes for children entering preschool under the Education Ministry. Zahid also described the approach under the RPN as not only strengthening the foundation of early childhood education, but also ensuring a smoother and more organized transition into formal schooling. On another front, Zahid, who is also the Barisan Nasional chairman, said the coalition will not interfere in MIC's internal affairs, stating that whatever decision MIC makes regarding its future is the party's right. However, Zahid expressed hope that the cooperation of the core parties in BN, including MIC, will continue to be strengthened.
Setiap parti gabungan, khususnya parti teras, kita menghormati antara satu sama lain, dan apapun keputusan yang akan dibuat oleh MIC itu adalah hak dan pendirian parti berkenaan.
Zahid also noted that the recent return of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, to BN has further stabilized the coalition. Recent media reports indicate that MIC will hold an emergency meeting soon to discuss its formal entry into Perikatan Nasional. MIC President Tan Sri S.A. Vigneswaran said that while PN has given the green light for the party's involvement, the process must still follow formal procedures. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim hopes Barisan Nasional's newly elected representatives for Kinabatangan and Lamak will uphold the leadership legacy of the late Datuk Sri Bung Mokhtar Radin. The Prime Minister said BN's victory in the twin by-elections reflected public confidence in the commitment and service demonstrated at the grassroots level. In a Facebook post on Sunday, Anwar, who is also the Pakatan Harapan chairman, extended his congratulations to BN, its partner in the unity government, on its victories in both by-elections on Saturday. He emphasized that the wins should be met with a strong sense of responsibility, noting that such mandates from the people demand leadership marked by integrity and effective public service delivery. He further emphasized that the Madani government will continue to uphold the spirit of consensus and cooperation to ensure that development in Sabah can be strengthened. It also requires the ability to address the needs of the community in an inclusive and ongoing manner. In Saturday's polls, Bung Mokhtar's son Muhammad Kurniawan Naim Mokhtar retained the Kinabatangan parliamentary seat, while Muhammad Ismail Ayub won the Lamak state seat for BN. The former Sabah BN chief, who died on December 5, 2025, had served as Kinabatangan Member of Parliament since 1999 and Lamak Assemblyman since 2020. Tourism plays a major role in a country's economic growth, as its flexible nature allows it to act as a multiplier for national income. For Malaysia, which has carved out a distinct identity as a tourism destination, the sector remains a consistent and significant source of revenue. Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar has the details.
Visit Malaysia 2026 is set to lift visitor spending across various tourism-related sectors, from hospitality to transport and retail. Its spillover effects are also expected to support jobs, small businesses and broader economic activities. In 2024, Malaysia's tourism industry generated 291.9 billion ringgit in revenue, contributing 15.1% to the national economy. For the first 7 months of last year, revenue surged by 174% compared to the same period a year earlier, reaching 161.9 billion ringgit. In terms of visitor arrivals, a total of 37.96 million foreign visitors entered the country, while 38.3 million arrivals were recorded between January and November 2025. As the 6th edition of Visit Malaysia Year gets underway, tourism figures are anticipated to climb even higher. While appearing as a guest on TV3's flagship business and financial talk show, Money Matters, on Saturday, Socio-Economic Research Centre (SERC) Executive Director Lee Heng Wee said that past figures indicate Malaysia is on track to meet its 2026 target and may even surpass it.
The target for the Visit Malaysia this year is 43 million. Okay. And 43 million, I was told they may subject to some further revision. Okay, depends on the outcome of the 2025. Now, based on the first 11 months of last year, visitors to Malaysia about 38.3 million. And I think you take a simple average, I believe we can hit the last year target of 43.
Lee added that although tourism primarily drives revenue through tourist spending, it also creates ripple effects across other sectors of the economy.
And if you look at the direct impact of tourism into some sector like your food and beverages, hotel, accommodation, etc., that's about 6.2% of GDP. And employment is about 3.5 million people employed, close to 21.6% of the total employment. So you look at the whole tourism, whether it's direct, indirect impact, is huge. Yeah, the spillover effect is very wide.
Behind the figures and revenue, tourism means jobs, skills and livelihoods for millions of Malaysians. Going into 2026, these opportunities are poised to reach even more lives across the country. Muhammad Nadir Asfar, TV3.
Furniture factory, workshop destroyed in fire. This and more after this breather.
Macam mana Aira boleh terfikir macam Aira nak serahkan abang pada orang lain?
Aku tak nak kawan dengan kau. Sebab kau tadi... Sebab kau tadi...
Dia cakap apa ni?
Yes.
Aduh, sakit.
Sampai hati kau.
Oh, tak nak kawan dengan abang sebab tak ada tonton ke?
Yelah, kan RM9.90 je. Sekarang barulah boleh kahwin. Kawan.
Smoke biscuit selama 10 jam atau 9 jam tu, tugas satu je, hanya pastikan api tak padam. Temperature is your enemy and your friend.
Ada masa free kita akan pergi mancing, letak jaring, tangkapan bergantung pada nasib itu, semua kaki pancing tahulah.
Maknanya bila kita bakar tanpa rasa tambahan, kita akan dapat rasa sotong yang paling original.
Trend gaya hidup sederhana, tekanan ekonomi dorong gaya hidup slow living.
Depresi pembunuh senyap, senyum di wajah, depresi di jiwa.
Keselamatan dan kesihatan industri, cakna keselamatan kerja, lindungi nyawa, lindungi diri.
5 pelanggan di restoran, semua dah self-service. Tapi kenapa perlu cas perkhidmatan?
Hutang si mati, presiden dan tanggungjawab waris.
Sehingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Ditonton dan TV3.
Welcome back. Malaysia has long grappled with brain drain, but that narrative may be starting to shift. A growing number of foreign professionals are now choosing to work and live here. Nightline's Nurin Razmin explores what's driving this brain gain and whether Malaysia can turn it into a long-term advantage.
Malaysia is increasingly positioning itself as a regional hub for global talent. Foreign professionals cite affordability, lifestyle, and competitive career opportunities as key reasons they are able not just to work, but to thrive here. For many foreigners, the country also offers a unique combination of cultural diversity and regional access, without the high costs seen in other global cities. According to Dan Poduret, the head of software testing at an IT company based in Kuala Lumpur, what matters most is the access to opportunity.
To me, what it stood out basically was the easy process to integrate. So the integration process was quite smooth.
He added, while challenges remain, Malaysia continues to offer many prospects for those willing to learn, adapt, and move forward.
Yeah, so I believe Malaysia creates an environment where for foreign professionals through trust and consistency can build long-term careers rather than through force and speed.
Data from the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA, stated that the country issued 154,155 expatriate passes in 2023, the highest level compared to previous years, pointing to a renewed inflow of skilled foreign talent. That momentum has continued into this year, with 38,197 passes issued between January and March 2024, up from 32,947 in the same period last year, a solid year-on-year increase. According to economist Paul Anthony Maria Das, this signals the confidence in the country's economic stability, governance, and overall livability.
Okay, from an economic point of view, this kind of inflow helps boost productivity, supports higher value sectors like digital services, finance, and advanced manufacturing, and importantly allows for skills transfer to local workers. So it's about a long-term growth, not just a short-term spending.
Beyond workforce numbers, expatriates are also making a significant economic impact. Foreign professionals and investors are estimated to contribute around 75 billion ringgit to Malaysia's GDP, accounting for roughly 4.8% of total output, underscoring their role in supporting growth, investment, and high-value sectors of the economy.
Originally, Malaysia is positioning itself as a credible alternative hub in ASEAN, and we are not trying to replace Singapore, but rather complement it. Okay, like offering a more cost-efficient, stable, and practical base for global talent and multinational operations.
As global mobility reshapes the workforce, Malaysia's ability to convert interest into long-term commitment will determine whether brain gain becomes a lasting advantage or a missed opportunity. Nurin Razmin, The Nightline, TV3.
A furniture factory and a car workshop in Section 16 Shah Alam were destroyed in a fire on Sunday afternoon. The Selangor Fire and Rescue Department received an emergency call at 12:32 p.m., with the first fire engine arriving at the scene 6 minutes later. Assistant Director of Operations Ahmad Mukhlis Mokhtar said 34 firefighters from the Shah Alam Fire Station were deployed to the scene, with support from the Klang Selatan, Klang Utara, Pelabuhan Klang and Petaling Jaya Fire and Rescue Stations. Upon arrival, firefighters found both the furniture factory and the car workshop already about 85% engulfed by flames. Firefighters immediately moved in to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading further. No injuries were reported in the incident. The cause of the fire and the extent of losses are still under probe. In Pulau Pinang, an 18-year-old motorcyclist was killed and 7 others injured in an 8-motorcycle pileup in Butterworth early on Saturday. The incident occurred at 3:30 a.m. on the Butterworth-Kulim Expressway. Seberang Perai Tengah District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Helmi Aris said initial investigation found that all the motorcyclists were travelling from Seberang Jaya towards Kulim. Upon reaching the scene, one of the motorcycles brushed against another, causing the rider to lose control. This led to a chain collision involving the other motorcycles. One rider was thrown onto the left side of the road and struck the metal guardrail separating the car and motorcycle lanes. The victim suffered severe injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. His body was sent to the Seberang Jaya Hospital Forensic Unit for post-mortem. 7 other riders aged between 18 and 22 were treated at the same hospitals for injuries to their hands and legs. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act for causing death by reckless or dangerous driving. Death toll from Indonesia landslide climbs to 16. The details when Nightline returns.
Di tengah ketakutan, suara kecil ini meminta simpati. Ini adalah pertanyaan kepada dunia. Di manakah hati dan nurani?
2025 dah habis. Jom kita tengok 2026.
Hubungan kita bukan betul pun. So apa? Main-main je. Awak bukan sayang saya pun kan?
Aku tak payah nak ambil tahu pasal hidup orang ni. Yang kau nak panas ni asal.
Dia pandai tau. Dia pandai malu.
Kalau nak nasihat, nasihat dengan hati. Kenalkan Nur. Orang penting dalam hidup Art.
Sampai bila abang nak tidur bawah ni? Kalau abang takut, Aira boleh tidur dekat tengah.
Abang risau belakang saya sakit.
Kau dah cakap sangat pasal mak aku kan? Kau cakap depan biji mata aku lah.
Saya layan awak macam sampah, tapi awak layan saya macam princess.
Walau sampai detik yang saya ada separuh nafas, saya tetap akan cintakan awak.
Mak, tak perasan ke? Ha? Muka dia tu macam tak suka kita datang.
Malam kau pergi mana? Aku call kau tak angkat. Mesej pun kau tak baca.
Tapi, walaupun kerja macam tu, diorang yolek tau.
Perempuan! Kalau bos nak, saya boleh tolong carikan kawan bos tu.
Sorry Cik Farah, saya nak pergi kat kereta ambil barang je.
Every time I see. Kau tak banyak muka dia jadi apa pun tak dapat.
Aku tak faham lah. Kenapa kau suruh aku tipu si Tidak tu? Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat tahun baru.
Selamat tahun baru. Selamat tahun baru 2026 kepada semua penonton TV3.
Dan juga Tonton.
The foreign front. The man fatally shot by federal officers in Minneapolis on Saturday has been identified as Alex Jeffrey Pretty. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said the man who was shot was a 37-year-old white man with no serious criminal history and a record that showed only some parking tickets.
This is a 37-year-old white male who is a Minneapolis resident, and we believe he is an American citizen. Our demand today is for those federal agencies that are operating in our city to do so with the same discipline, humanity, and integrity that effective law enforcement in this country demands. We urge everyone to remain peaceful.
O'Hara added that the man was a lawful gun owner with a permit. Pretty's parents, meanwhile, said their son had stepped in front of a federal agent who shoved a woman protester shortly before his death. They denounced what they called sickening lies from the Donald Trump administration and said the gun found Pretty, which local officials said he was licensed to carry, was not in his hand when he was shot. State records show Pretty was issued a nursing license in 2021 and it remains active through March 2026. Meanwhile, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz expressed his disappointment over the incident, describing it as another horrific shooting by federal agents.
Donald Trump, I call on you once again. Remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen deadly violence from federal agents again and again and again. They think they can provoke us into abandoning our values. Well, they're dead wrong. We'll keep the peace. We'll secure the justice with our neighbors, and we'll see this occupation ends.
Walz also vowed that the state's justice system will have the last word on the killing of Preti, echoing calls by activists for a local investigation, not just a federal probe into the killing.
That will keep the peace. Acts by this federal government.
Our streets! Our streets! In the meantime, large protests spread across U.S. cities on Saturday, including Minneapolis, New York City, San Francisco, Boston, and Providence, Rhode Island, after 37-year-old Preti was shot dead by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Protesters braved the extreme cold to speak out against the agency and show support for Preti and others who have been harmed by the surge of immigration agents who have flooded the city in recent weeks. Thousands more rallied in Union Square in New York City, while a giant crowd formed outside the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. Preti, a U.S. citizen who worked in the intensive care unit at the Minneapolis VA healthcare system, which serves veterans, was shot multiple times during an exchange with law enforcement officers. Back in Minneapolis, protesters converged at the scene of Preti's shooting, despite dangerously cold weather. As dark fell, hundreds of people gathered quietly by a growing memorial at the spot where the nurse was killed. Rescuers halted search operations on Sunday for victims of a landslide in Indonesia's West Java province after recovering 14 bodies on the second day of operations, bringing the total number of confirmed fatalities to 25. Up to 80 people were still missing. Head of the Bandung Search and Rescue Office, Ade Dian Permana, said all bodies had been evacuated to a disaster victim identification post by 4 p.m. local time for identification. Ade also confirmed that search operations were suspended later in the day due to safety concerns, as soil conditions in the affected area remained unstable and at risk of further landslides. The pre-dawn landslide roared down the slopes of Mount Burangang in West Java province on Saturday, burying some 34 houses in Pasir Langu village. Switching to sports, badminton, the 2026 Indonesia Masters. It was triple joy for Malaysia after shutless Govt Nur Izzuddin Rumsani captured the men's doubles crown on Sunday. After Pelitan Mtina and Chentangji To Wei won their respective titles earlier, Zafei and Izzuddin joined the party after beating world number 23 homesters Raymond Indra Niklaus Wakin 21-19, 21-13. The world number 9 professionals ended their wait for a title after last claiming the Indian Open a year ago. It was a second consecutive men's doubles crown for Malaysia in the tournament after Man Wei Chong T Kai Woon triumphed in last year's edition. Earlier, reigning world champions Chen Tangji To Wei etched their names into Malaysian badminton history by clinching the mixed doubles crown at the Indonesia Masters. The world number 4 pair became the first Malaysians to lift the mixed doubles title since the tournament began in 2010, after they overcame world number 10 pair Mathias Christensen, Alexandra Boye of Denmark. They won 15-21, 21-17, 21-11, and 56 minutes, earning them $39,500 in prize money. Meanwhile, Malaysia's 15-year wait for a women's doubles title at the Indonesia Masters ended on Sunday after Perlitan and Tina were declared the champions following a walkover in the final. Japan's Arisa Igarashi Miyu Takahashi withdrew from the final after one of them is believed to have become ill. Vivian Hu Woon Kerwei last won the title for Malaysia in 2011. American climber Alex Honnold has successfully scaled a Taiwan skyscraper without a rope, harness, or safety equipment. The building, named Taipei 101 for the number of its floors, stands at 508 meters of steel, glass, and concrete, and is designed to resemble a stick of bamboo. Visuals of his climb wrap up Nightline this time around. And with that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching, and be well, Malaysia.